Welcome back, everybody, to a new week, new podcast. Well, same podcast, I guess. It's same Wumbo Jumbo, Bad Mavs, but it's Austin Ollie, a sports podcast. Make sure you
Yes,
follow us all across the
sir.
medias. You got our own socials up on the screen. You'll see all that in the description and notes. But Instagram is Austin_and_Ollie. TikTok, Austin Ollie. YouTube, of course, Austin Ollie. And social, all the Spotify's, all the Apple Musics, all of our Google Play listeners. We care about you guys too.
Yes.
iHeartRadio, wherever
Come
you
on
listen
now.
to your
We're
podcast,
everybody.
man. We're everybody. We're everyone. We're everywhere. So don't forget
Make
that.
sure if you're listening on that iHeart, if you're listening on Apple, subscribe.
Just hit it with
Give
that
us a
5-star.
little 5-star rating. Just drop it on.
It's a little
just
cheeky one.
sprinkle.
Yeah, come on now. It don't take long to do that.
Yeah, it's easy peasy. Light work.
Light work. But yeah, we're gonna get to some stuff. We got Cowboys. I mean, again, it's still maybe after next week it'll pick up a little bit with free agency starting. Like for everyone to be buying and stuff like that. Some Dak stuff, some contract predictions. He had a new look after you can tell after Austin's struggle. Yeah, we got that. NBA. For some reason, Mavs basketball season is starting to feel like kind of like baseball season with its really highs and really lows. We're up at an all-time high with a 7-game win streak, and then we've lost 4 out of our last 5 games. We'll briefly talk into that and what the fuck's going on there. Spring training still going on, and Wyatt Langford's on a fucking tear. Just real briefly, he had 3 homers in 2 games back-to-back, and he looks insane, and he's just knocking down that door and telling Bochy, yeah, I'm going to be there for opening weekend. I'm just letting you know. Like, okay, cool. And if we got time, we'll get to some Dallas Stars and FC Dallas talk. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. What was going on this weekend for you, Austin?
Yeah, I'm a new homeowner, which is cool. Big time.
Congrats.
So
come on, let's all get a round of applause to my boy Austin.
Yeah,
bro.
it's
That's big
I
time.
respect it. I got a shirt in the closet that says I'm officially a homeowner. If you want to see that, another day.
I think I saw Emily wearing it when I went there Sunday. I think she was wearing it. I was like, hey, I like your shirt.
I got the same thing, just a different color.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So just kind of doing all that. Walk like 20,000 steps on Saturday with like mowing the lawn and moving and all that shit. So it was a long weekend. Taking a nap yesterday, or not taking a nap, but going to bed yesterday was unbelievable. I think I was in bed at like 9:30. I was so tired. Still am. Legs are hurting still. Did leg day at the gym too, which doesn't really help, right? So, but it's another day. We got work to do, so it's a good time. But anyway, that's it with me, man. Nothing too crazy. Kind of boring. Just getting big stuff done.
So is that
what about you?
Are you exciting, or like you're just excited with? I mean, obviously, you guys have so like a lot to do with the house, but like you just have fun doing it every time.
Yeah.
It's just something different.
Yeah, definitely exciting. It's a lot of work. It's like it's kind of overwhelming until you kind of fit. Yeah, because it's just like so much stuff that needs to get done, and just so much stuff that that we want to do, and everything's expensive. So then you got to pay for it all. It's just it sucks.
And it feels like you're spending like a shit ton right at the beginning, huh? Because you say you're getting like laundry, dry, like washer, dryer.
Yeah, you're getting like all that stuff
you need.
And then all the stuff you need to live, and then like like we're getting like popcorn ceilings and all that stuff taken out. And we're getting like we're gonna paint. We're gonna get new flooring. So it's just all this stuff. It adds up, but
it's
gonna be cool, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna be worth it. I'm excited.
Man,
yeah. I'm excited. It's gonna be sweet, dude, and it's gonna be a great place. Excited to call. Have something to call mine and Emily's own. So that's the big thing.
Yeah, it's big time. It's big time.
That's the big time.
Again, everyone make sure if you guys see Austin on the streets or him at work, because he's always at work or the gym, or hit him on the medias, bro. On the medias, just give him a congrats, because this is huge. I know he was talking about it. It was. Yeah, he was like, dude, I might not even know if we'll get one, so and so. And like they timed it perfectly, because your lease ends this weekend, right? You said.
Yeah, this Saturday.
Oh, so this is absolutely perfect.
Yeah. So we have like a week of overlap to move everything in and all that stuff, which is nice. So just trying to take stuff little at a time. But hopefully we kind of get it going and it's not too bad.
Yeah, it'll get there. So that's massive. And on my side of things, I was there Sunday, being a great cousin for this guy, being a good co-host.
I appreciate it. It was fun.
I did.
Made it more fun
swear,
too.
I think I did fuck on my back doing this. I swear.
Hey, you're lifting with your back, not your legs, man. You gotta lift with the legs. You gotta do a little squat.
That's never happened to me before. I guess I was just getting like
Now you're getting older, bro. That's what it means.
damn, bro. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
Welcome
start
to
off with Sunday
mid-20s.
and I'll go backwards. Yeah, I'm close to that mid-20s, dude. 24 this year. Fuck. So yeah, we helped them. Went to church early. Got some bomb ass tortas with Raul, dude. Oh, that's really what got
I'm
me to
so
the day to
jealous.
help you.
I'm so
telling you, we gotta
jealous,
go.
bro.
We gotta go someday. Like we can go to like
Absolutely.
meet us at church. We'll go get some
Bet.
tortas and then we'll just
Bet.
kick it back at the cribbo with some drinks and stuff.
Absolutely.
Think about it. Just picture
Absolutely.
it. Exactly.
Come
So
on
yeah,
now.
we'll do that. So we did that. We ate, went to his place, and we're just moving shit. And I don't know, like it didn't hurt when I was doing it. Like you didn't feel like that pain.
Yeah.
And then I had a Sunday league game Sunday, and like we had no subs, so it was last time me and Sebastian really played like half the game, and then like this time we're like, nah, we wanted to play the whole game, right? Like what's up? Like 90 minutes of just straight running.
Yeah. Now you got
And
no choice.
the other team was just straight kickball, and they were fast, and it was just
That's so tough.
yeah, we are just catching up. And then like 2 red cards at the beginning of the game. I was playing left mid, so I felt so lost out there. I ended the game playing like CDM. I was on my Edson Alvarez shit. I was just
Yeah.
let
You're
me
just
just try to
sitting
help
there
y'all back here. Let me just distribute the ball, get some tackles in, you know. But that was Sunday. Saturday, golf in the morning. It was a little bit better golf experience. Course was really nice. Greens were fast. They were going.
Nice.
And I bought some new degree wedges, like a 50,
Come on
54,
now.
58. Oof, dude, that's a game changer. Game changer, my
It's
guy.
especially around the green, dude. When you get a good
I'm telling
one,
you, yeah,
it's
exactly.
big
So,
time.
because it was either like choking down on my pitching wedge or go with my lob wedge.
Yeah, you
That's
got no
literally all I would
choice.
do. Yeah, and then
Yeesh.
so I had that. That was Saturday, and then me and Raul obviously went out that night. To Dallas, pretty cool, pretty nice, chill vibes. Friday was a little preview to Mavs, a little teaser to that. Went out to Boomers. We watched Mavs Celtics. It's kind of close for a little bit.
It was a good game for a sec to the first
It was
three.
a good game for a sec. It just shows you how good the Boston Celtics are. They're just deep. They got a bunch of role players. They have depth. What I was mad about, I was just like,
it shows you how ass some of the Mavs are.
oh, for sure. I mean, just going up against
Looking
like
at one specific player,
yeah, just looking at just like the one, like the contender, the one that's supposed to win the whole damn thing, and then one that was in talks for like a week and a half after the trade deadline. It's like, hey, I mean, it might be like a project thing, but as Jason Kidd is your coach, doesn't look like you're gonna get far. Yeah, nothing too crazy. That was my weekend. Then we can get to talking to sports, and we'll get to Mavs eventually. So
yes, sir. Well, it's a fun little recap of our personal lives. It's time to get into the Dallas Cowboys. Really, I guess right now a lot of the big stuff that's going on in the world of the NFL. Combine just happened, which means that there's agents kind of all in Indianapolis, team leadership's all in Indianapolis. Which means that some of the Cowboys that are pending free agents or are due for extensions are getting talked about. So we're going to talk about a couple of big contracts that are probably incoming that in the short term help the Cowboys cap space and cap situation. But the first one is the quarterback, second leading vote getter in the MVP for this past season, Dak Prescott. Now, according to Sport Track, however you say it, that website, they are estimating, basically like going in and estimating some of the contracts of the biggest free agents. So obviously, right, it's not really guaranteed this is what he's going to get or anything like that, but they're estimating that his contract is going to be 3 years for $180 million. That's an average annual value of $60 million a year, which is going to set the market for quarterbacks now, which Joe Burrow is kind of the leader at $55 million a year. And they're estimating that's going to get roughly 120 million or so guaranteed at signing, with 170 or so practically guaranteed. So massive numbers. One, I've kind of been prepared for something like this to come out.
Yeah.
But two, whenever it does happen, I'm desperately not looking forward to that day, because the discourse on Twitter or X or any social media is going to be absolutely horrendous. So yeah, what are your thoughts? Dak Prescott, $180 million over 3 years.
I mean, back to what you're saying, it's regardless of what the contract he gets. I mean, they're gonna get shut on regardless. If it would have been a cheaper contract or if it would have been something, they're still gonna call. I mean, all the media is gonna call him idiots for re-signing Dak, doing this because some people obviously don't believe that he's a good quarterback. You just gotta know what he is. He's a really good regular season quarterback. Can just get you those wins. I mean, second MVP voting, like
Yeah.
closest any Cowboys gone in this time, or like just in the past future and stuff, like past years and stuff. And obviously, I got back on my Dak bandwagon this year, even though I had jumped off of it. You guys saw it, and then he just decided to have this crazy year. But yeah, he has yet to show it in the postseason. It can be a matter of coaching, players, or I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what to blame anymore. Front office, obviously, everything. We can blame anything, anyone. But I'm a big fan of the short contract, the 3-year contract. I mean, after the year that he just had, and if you willingly want to get better, I think we talked about this. You have to tank. Like if you want to get this team better, you have to start from scratch. That would be meaning letting Dak walk and doing that, and just start from and either let Trey Lance and Cooper Rush fight it out, and then just get whatever from the draft and just start rebuilding, and then this and that, since they care about their precious little cash space situation every year. But it seems like for every team, it doesn't matter. So I mean, from now, it doesn't seem like a too terrible of a contract. I like it because I don't think there's anyone, at least in the market or in the draft, or unless you're training for a first round pick or like a number 1 overall pick. But I mean, it looks like quarterbacks are just going less and less and less, especially in college. I mean, last year, I think there was only one quarterback that got drafted in the first round, and I think it was Kenny Pickett. I think I heard that right.
I think that was 2 years ago.
Or 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. I think last year was
because it was Richardson.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson and that whole group.
Yeah. Okay, and then this year should be like, I think it'll be close to like 6 or 7
like
quarterbacks.
Caleb Williams, yeah, Drake May.
Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, Jaden McDaniels, JD McCarthy.
Is Penix going?
Penix is going. Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
That's kind of like I know. It's Drake May's the guy. I think that's the guy you want. But
not Caleb Williams?
Yeah. No, he's a scrub, bro. He's gonna flop. 100% he's gonna flop. I would
100%. Oh.
100% he's gonna flop.
How do you feel about him not throwing or doing his physical stuff?
It's kind of sad to think about. He'd be the perfect Cowboys player. Everything that Jerry Jones would want in a quarterback, that's Caleb Williams. He cares about his brand more than he cares about the team. When has he ever won? He hasn't.
Yeah. No.
Like he's been on a winning team, but he's never won anything. He went to the Pac-12 with USC with, a coach that basically cherry-picked him to go with him, had already been in that offense. And then you expect that you're going to go to the Pac-12 and like, all right, I got the best team, got the best NIL. And you expect like, oh, okay, well, we're at least going to get one Pac-12 title. Didn't get a single thing. So I think Caleb Williams, great individual player, will put stats up, but also I think he was a product of a system. And when you look at it in crunch time, hasn't ever won a game, hasn't won the big game, you know what I mean? And I think that ultimately, I think he's part of a system that just makes the quarterbacks look good. I mean, look at the quarterbacks that were in Oklahoma before Caleb Williams. I mean, it was Jalen Hurts, it was Baker Mayfield, it was Kyler Murray. I mean, all those guys were all, Baker and Kyler were first overall picks. Jalen Hurts was early second round pick. It just makes the systems look good. The system makes quarterbacks look good. So that's what I think about him. Yeah, and I think one last thing is whenever he opted out of the bowl game, in the same system, backup quarterback that you've never heard of breaks USC's record for touchdown passes and yards thrown in a bowl game. So it just kind of shows that I think it's a system kind of guy. You just had the right people around it. I mean, you can load up on stats against dog shit teams, and when he gets to the meat of the schedule, he's gonna fold. So
yeah, okay.
Anyway,
damn, okay. Tell me how you really feel, man.
yeah,
Damn, I like
back
that. I like that.
back to who we were talking about.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott. I think the contract is earned. I think it's hard to
Mm-hmm.
say that. I mean, obviously, right? He was just second in MVP voting. He, has kind of proven his worth to the team, and they kind of see that, the Cowboys go as he goes. For better or for worse, and like you said, right? Unless you tank, you're not gonna really get that shot at a fresh, number one quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Or unless you get lucky and you find a diamond in the rough, like you found Dak Prescott in the 4th round, like the 49ers, for all the shit that we give them, found Brock Purdy as the last pick in the draft. And I think ultimately, right, I like the flexibility of 3 years that gives the Cowboys. It's not tying him down super late to where, like, I think he'll be 32 or 33, so he probably has got one more contract in him after that. And then, like, you see with like Russell Wilson, where he just kind of like just absolutely just folds whenever he hits an age. So, Father Time is undefeated, and Dak obviously had the leg injury, a couple seasons ago. So I mean, maybe that eventually catches up to him. But I think for now, I think 3 years, 180 mil. It sounds crazy, it sounds absurd, but ultimately that's just the market, and it kind of is what it is.
Yeah, it just keeps getting worse every year. I mean, or not worse, but it just like kind of shows you, just kind of resets it. It keeps inflating. That's just how it is. And the opposite end, like the running back situation's going the other way.
Exactly.
I'm starting to understand how valuable the position is. Obviously, I mean, in the National Football League, it's really hard to come by I'm going to say top 8 quarterback, right? You kind of need a top 8, or like at least, I mean, obviously you need a top 5 quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm just saying top 8 so people don't get heated. Obviously, I think you can easily put Dak top 8 or even high as top 10. If you have him out of your top 10, it's crazy. If you want to talk about playoffs and all that, okay, go ahead. If you want to rank playoff quarterbacks, go ahead. But, I mean, how they get there, I mean, their stats are there for a reason. And then for one, like you're talking about injuries again, Dak had a relatively pretty healthy year this year, that I would say. Because I was trying to think the years before, I thought he was starting to get injury prone, if I was being honest.
Yeah, because he just has little things.
He got that leg injury. He got that leg injury, and obviously, I mean, you can't get mad about that. That's just like, I mean, bro, his leg was snapped in half. After that, it was the calf injury that he got in New England. That arm thing that he had that was really weird.
It was like
the hand, the thumb too, or like he couldn't grip a football. I was trying to believe. I was like, dude, Dak is starting to be a quarterback that's not being reliable. And then this year he went out there, and then obviously, I mean, he missed out a couple of fourth quarters just because we were blowing the fuck out of teams.
Yeah, we did.
So his stats wouldn't even been more crazier. I mean, but he helped the interception number down too. So you got to give props to the man. But I mean, you're not gonna find some media out there that's gonna be like, you know what, I really like this for the Dallas Cowboys. This and this and that. No, I mean, it's never gonna end up that way. I mean, it's never gonna.
It's because of the star on the helmet, man. We say it all the time.
We mention it all the time. Yeah, it's just. So again, I'm a fan of it because I think it does give you flexibility with the 3 years. It doesn't. You're not tying him down for too much. And then, I mean, the next guy that's going to get paid is going to pay even more than that. So, like,
yeah.
And you could be the Giants. You could be the Giants. You have Daniel Jones to a contract.
40 a year.
And you already say, yeah, we absolutely want nothing to do with Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it could be worse. It could definitely be worse. So,
yes, sir. And now the next Cowboy that is due for a big contract is none other than CeeDee Lamb. I think top 3 receiver in NFL, especially this past season. I think he went crazy. So Spotrac is estimating his contract at 4 years, $120 million. So that's 30 average annual, or 30 per year annually. They're estimating 55 guaranteed at signing, with 75 of that roughly or practically guaranteed. I mean, obviously, right? Like, it's the days are gone where in like $20 million for a number one receiver in NFL, like, sounds absurd, but unfortunately, like, that's the inflation of the cap, man. I mean, the cap grew by over $30 million, like we said last year or last week. And that's just what a number one receiver in NFL is going for. So, I mean, you can only imagine what Mike is going to get whenever he's due for an extension. I mean, it's probably going to be in the ballpark of 4 years, $160 million, you know?
Insane, dude. Insane.
So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think that CD is a guy that you have to build around. I think he kind of proves that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not a physical monster, I don't think. Like, I wouldn't say, I don't think he's blazing fast. He's not massive like DK Metcalf,
Yeah, compared to them,
but
yeah.
he's so reliable. His hands are so good. His route running's crisp.
Mm-hmm.
He knows when to get down. He knows when to get out of bounds. He avoids
Yeah.
taking hits.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a true number one receiver in NFL, and they finally got him going after the bye week this year. I mean, imagine if after the bye week or prior to the bye week, I mean, he basically, or imagine if he did what he did after the bye week the entire season. I mean, he has every shot at breaking 2K, just like Tyreek did. So,
yeah,
man, I think that CD's worth it. And obviously, right, you don't want to lose him. He's going into his 5th year, so it's the last year of his rookie contract.
Yeah. Yeah, he for sure needs to get. I mean, he's gonna get paid. Everyone's gonna see that. It has to be a top priority. It was so. I mean, obviously we saw that leap with Dak and the new offense, and obviously in CeeDee Lamb too. But it was just crazy to me how, I guess it's different, biasly just being a Cowboy fan. People saying, "Oh no, doubt." I mean, CeeDee's not a one. CeeDee's not a one. CeeDee's not a one, and it had to come up to this season for him to pull all that shit, and then just be like, finally for him to get the respect that he deserves. And it's just crazy to me that
he's been owed it for these past couple years, which is the big thing to me.
Yeah. And like you said, like if you would have been doing this prior to the bye week, I just don't get why it took so long. Like,
yeah, no, I agree.
Make it make sense, dude. I don't know. And there was that I mean, thinking about it now that I can think of, like on the spot, that game against Miami, where he gets that big breakaway touchdown. He had over, I think, already 100 yards in the first quarter. Doesn't touch the ball again into the fourth quarter. Doesn't get targeted at all. And you see guys Gil, you get guys like Jay Jettas, Tyreek Hill that get forced for the ball no matter what. Like, obviously, yeah, you're the number one. You're going to get doubled, but they still find a way to get him there. I mean,
they're just going to I mean, they know that the number one receiver, they're going to be the guy that, kind of makes offense tick. So I don't know, man. I think that it just shows when the Cowboys haven't been there before and they look ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure.
But so those are the big contracts that are probably for sure incoming with the Dallas Cowboys. But 2 names that are likely not returning. We mentioned them last week in Cowboys pending free agents, but it is legend, offensive tackle Tyron Smith, and then our starting center for the past 2, maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
And Tyler Biadasz. So they're both rumored to be leaving. Both are kind of all parties met at the NFL Combine. It appears that all sides are pretty far apart financially. So how big of a loss do you think these 2 are? What does the Cowboys offensive line look like after this and with both of them leaving?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it, or I mentioned to you. I mean, we all talked about it, and I said Biadasz was a guy that I was okay with letting go. He was just just someone that you had to a big liability, a lot of penalties, this and that. He obviously did have character and heart. He did his stuff, and so it's always tough with a guy like that. But I'm not like losing sleep over it, but I am losing sleep over Tyron Smith because he's going to be a guy that goes to a contender, and it's not going to be a big ass contract. We all know that because it's rare. I mean, to see him play like 10 to 12 games is what you want him to do. Yeah, maybe. So you're gonna go see him and like make a O-line better or make an O-line even crazier than it already is to a contender. And I'll be rooting for him to win a chip, just like all these other guys that played on the Cowboys that either never got one or had to leave. DeMarcus Ware being one of them, and just so and so forth, just guys like that. So if it's true that he doesn't end up coming back, it is gonna hurt a little bit. As clearly he was a big mentor towards to Tyler Smith. Yeah, so I mean, I know it's gonna be. I mean, I can tell you right now easily, just from the top of our head, that it's gonna be a big. We're gonna be drafting no linemen, and I mean, and I was also reading a Bleacher Report article before this. So it was just some Dallas Cowboys stuff, and they talked about trading a wide receiver for a bag of chips, but the Dallas Cowboys would never do that, right? They would never do that.
Oh
right?
No. Never.
Oh, wait, yeah, they did do that with Amari Cooper. Oh, yeah. Fuck, I forgot about that. Yeah. So, yeah, Bleacher Report just had some trade ideas because, Cap Boy, a.k.a. Steven Jones, says, he loves his cap and wants to get that cap space. So with free agency starting in March 13th, if we were to trade him before
Trading
that,
him
I think.
before the 13th saves us $4 million.
Yeah, saves us $4 million in cap space.
Okay.
So I'm gonna run you by these. So they gave us 3 teams that we would trade with. And just give me yes or no if you would do it.
Sure.
So yeah, trading him would save you $4 million cap space. You trade with the Browns again. You've already done it before. Already screwed you over once. Then you still need wide receiver help. So you can go ahead and help build their core, I guess, with just Cowboys rejects, quote unquote. You'd be trading. You would begin the Browns 2024 fifth round pick, 155th overall via Philly. So just straight up, that's it. Cardinals, their 24th or the 2024 overall or 2024 draft pick, 188th, 6th round, and a 2025 5th round pick.
Okay.
And then the Ravens is a 2024 draft pick, their 5th round pick, and 2024 7th round pick, 226 via the Jets. But you also give up your 7th round pick this year for 242. So you go.
Yeah.
You trade up your 7th
Yeah,
round
you
pick
trade
basically.
up. You trade up. Yeah, you trade up in the 7th, and you get a 5th. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. Yeah. So, days that we record, we post on our Instagram, basically asking for hot takes, give us something to talk about, give us a little bit of thoughts, kind of get people on a little bit just interaction, working with us. So, at Caleb_Leva said that he thinks the Dallas front office has already decided on a rebuild, but said they would be all in so that they don't lose money and I guess overall right fan support. I can give you my take on this. I think that they probably haven't outright said that they're rebuilding, but I think that they are, just in the sense of I don't even think that they know that they're rebuilding, but I think that they are. And that's how little I think about this front office. I don't think that they're all in by any sense of the imagination, and I just don't think that that's anything that they really think about.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that they have the backbone to do what they need to do to make this team a Super Bowl contender, personally.
No, I totally agree with that. It's just that, man, I can't believe that interview with Stephen Jones came out and his smirk, and it's just like, oh yeah, we're always all in. Like, dude, that's fucking bullshit, bro. Come on, let's be fucking serious for once. Like, you can't, he had to chuckle because he knew he couldn't even do it to himself. He couldn't believe it himself, and it was just,
it's ridiculous.
Jerry's always gonna be all in, blah blah blah, and this isn't even that crazy of a hot take because, I mean, I think we talked about it. When right after the playoff happened, we were like, hey, if you want this team to succeed, it might have to be a rebuild. I mean, that's probably what you have to do. But imagine telling a Cowboy fan that you have to rebuild. Like, it's just not going to go very well with them.
No.
So maybe that obviously, I mean, you don't come out and say that you're rebuilding unless you're one of those like bummy ass teams like Washington. Name me a bum ass team.
I mean, I like the
Cardinals.
I mean,
yeah,
the Broncos,
the Bears,
literally,
Texans, kind of for a little bit. Obviously,
Yeah.
but now it's obviously working. They got their quarterback. They got their guys. I mean, they had a great draft class just recently. Holy crap!
Absolutely, yeah, they had a really good draft.
Great draft class. I'm a big fan of Houston. I don't care. I mean, that's the only time I'll root for Houston is in football. I mean, because they have nothing to do with us. That don't do anything to us. So props to them. But I mean, I think ideally you have to go through the rebuild if you want to succeed. And if you're telling me that there's a Super Bowl, I mean, obviously you can't tell me that's guaranteed. But even that, I'm gonna be like, okay. But the thing is, we have such a terrible fan base because we just have guys, or we just have people that don't. Obviously, they just pay attention to football on Sundays. They know the quarterback, the running back, and the receiver, and maybe a defensive player. Right now, I mean, Michael Parsons, obviously, and stuff like that. So it's just tough, and that's just how sports is, and that's what you have to deal with when you're. I mean, like I said, whether you like it or not, it's the biggest franchise, and it's the most expensive franchise, and it's America's team for as long as you remember.
Do you remember how miserable that year that Dak Prescott broke his leg was?
That's what I'm saying. Like
12.
Oh my gosh, you have to go back.
Such a miserable year.
Other than Ben DiNucci, do you remember Garrett Gilbert being a starting quarterback for your Dallas Cowboys?
Garrett Gilbert started.
I was at that game.
DiNucci started.
I was at that game for Garrett Gilbert.
Yeah.
Garrett Gilbert.
Andy Dalton was like
He got lit the
He
fuck
was a
up.
savior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so bad that season. It was when Andy Dalton got lit the fuck up and the O-line didn't do shit about it. They didn't give a fuck that their quarterback just got knocked out. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck about that redhead. Literally, bro.
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
It's unbelievable.
It'd have to be a season like that. Even though that one obviously wasn't planned and you got Michael Parsons out of that next draft, right?
Yeah. That's who we got was Micah.
Yeah, so, I mean, look at the bright side like that. But obviously, I mean, you going into a football team, especially at the Dallas Cowboys, imagine going to that locker room and go, guys, so we're going to let go of Dak Prescott?
I'm sorry, but I don't think that the personalities in the locker room could handle it. I don't think Michael can handle it. I don't think CD can handle it.
I mean, any team shouldn't. I mean, I'm not saying that you should be okay with doing it, but I mean, if that's what it's gonna take, fuck, I don't know, dude. I don't know what the answers are anymore. I don't know.
Yeah,
we haven't tried everything. If Doctor Strange comes to me and he goes, "Have you checked all the other possibilities?" and he goes, "Yeah, this is the only one," just like in Avengers, and I'm gonna be like, "Let's go watch some shitty football."
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, that's the Dallas Cowboys. Let's get into a little something that we thought was going to be just as exciting as the Texas Rangers.
Great.
But it is just as disappointing as the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Mavericks. So in their last 5 games, they have 4 losses. This past week they lost in a blowout to the Boston Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to the Philadelphia 76ers at home.
They're 7.5 point favorites.
Yeah, the day after a pool party at Buddy Hield's house in Dallas, without Joel Embiid. And then who else didn't they play? They played somebody else in the middle of the week, right? Last week.
Well, because they played. I mean, they beat Toronto.
Yep.
They beat Toronto and they lost to the Cavs, obviously. But I mean, we talked about that.
Oh yeah, because we.
So I think those were the only games that were considered that from when we left.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. They got the Pacers tomorrow. So how are we feeling? Good team. I think that one, Jason Kidd's going crazy. You very obviously, I think the biggest thing that I've seen that a lot of like MFFLs have said is, really talking about Tim Hardaway Jr. and just the rotations that Jason Kidd is playing with Tim, in addition to playing Tim with Kyrie and Luka. Which it doesn't work. I think that's one of the worst net ratings that the Mavs have. I think that Tim pretty exclusively has to either be with one or the other, or has to be on his own. And I think realistically, he probably works best if it's him and Luka, and then let Kyrie sit. But I think that ultimately, the 3 of them can't be on the court at the same time. I know with the Celtics, it was, I think, a 1-point game, 2-point game, 3-point game, somewhere around that nature.
At least 3 points, some point in the third quarter.
Yeah, in the third quarter, Tim Hardaway subs in, and it's Tim, Luka, Kai, and all of a sudden, the Mavs are losing by almost 30 with like 8 minutes in the fourth. So I think they went on a 20-something point run, effectively, to outscore the Mavs. So obviously not good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Jason Kidd's kind of the biggest talking point with his rotations. Tim Hardaway doesn't look good. I don't know what's going on with the team right now. There was so much optimism and confidence after the trade deadline. It's kind of all hit the fan.
I was getting close to, I mean, obviously thinking that, I mean, we had every right to think that they were contenders, at least Western Conference. Just with the squad they had gotten, they finally had a center with Derek Lively. They traded for another big man. And you're telling me he's only playing maybe 7 minutes a night?
He played 5 minutes against the
Celtics.
Against the Celtics or the Sixers, yeah.
And like you take a big man out and you bring a big man in. Like it should be a nonstop rotation of, hey, you usually think like, okay, the center's out, we can probably exploit this. No, you have Gafford coming in. Oh, Gafford's tired. Oh yeah, you bring back Derek Lively. Oh no, it's Maxi Kleba playing the 5 to close out the game.
Yeah, he's been playing so much recently, and I'm just surprised. I don't understand why Daniel Gafford's not getting.
Why are they overplaying him so much? Yeah, Daniel
Gafford played so well before the trade deadline in those 2 games, and then all of a sudden now, right? Like, what the fuck?
I don't know what's going on with Kidd, and just, I mean, Yeah, I talking about defense and the All-Star break. Ever since the All-Star break, it's coming back from the All-Star break. The Mavs have the worst defensive rating in the NBA, 124. So yeah, Maxi Clee was playing all these minutes, getting 2 buckets. I mean, Gafford played 13 against the 76ers. I mean, the last 2 games where he hasn't gotten minutes, I mean, it's been 0 points. But the game before that, he got 13 points in 25 minutes.
It just doesn't make any sense.
And then the game before, he got 4 points on 7 minutes played. Like, I mean,
and it's not even like they're not playing a big because Derek Lively is still getting 20+ minutes a game. So
yeah, it's just Maxi Kleber taking the minutes. I don't know why.
Yeah, like what specifically is Maxi showing that Daniel Gafford isn't? And I don't know. I just think that Daniel Gafford. I mean, is it shooting? But like we have enough shooting on the court, so I don't think we need.
Gafford has the best shooting percentage.
Yeah, I mean 3-point
field goal percentage. No, I'm saying he has the best field goal percentage. He has the best field goal percentage.
Yeah, I believe that because he probably shoots like 70-something% from the field because he's taking dunks.
Exactly, but he leads the league, or at least did for. I hear it all the time. Like it's just you have a big man. It doesn't mean that and like maybe you're right. Maybe it makes sense because Maxi's a 3-point shooter, and if he doesn't take that 3 and you see him in the paint, oh my god, it's fucking atrocious. It's like a giraffe. It's bad. And then you also talked about Dante Exum. Like with this fully healthy team, I don't know if we can find some minutes for Dante Exum. And it's like he was your guy at the beginning of the season.
Take Tim Hardaway out, bro.
No, that's your guy. That's your guy.
That's not my guy. No, that's not my guy.
Oh, all of a sudden, he's not your guy.
No, when was he ever my guy? When I wanted to trade him, what'd you say? I said trade him. I said he's a role player, bro. He's a role player for a minute. He's shooting career highs. Trade him. That's not me. That's not my guy, bro.
How much we rely on Austin's guy is that if he makes at least 4 threes,
bro.
The Mavs are 14-6 this year. If he makes at least 4 threes.
That's crazy slander.
Yeah, I fucking hate your guy, bro. Absolutely.
That's
hate
not
him
my
with
guy.
Passion.
Don't put my name with that.
Don't put my name
with that. That's not my guy.
That's your guy, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, Dallas. Or Luka finally gets a Western Conference Player of the Month award. About time deserved. But still drops in the MVP ladder that's posted. So big media is still out to get Luka Doncic. And just having an anti-Luka MVP campaign. I don't know what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's doing. Because he's not averaging better. I mean, he doesn't have better averages. He scores like 31
points exactly every game. I see it as a joke. Like, he doesn't score more than 31 points. It's always 31 on the dot. He won't score more than that.
It doesn't make any sense. And I mean, obviously, right, the Mavs are kind of slumping right now, so maybe there's that. But still, I think that Luka should be getting more respect in regards to, you know, a little bit of the MVP voting. But that is what it is, you know. I don't know. I guess Shai did drop 35, 8, and 9 tonight, while the Thunder I think they're leading the West and just beat the Suns.
Now. Yeah,
they beat the Suns today too. So I don't know, man. I would love to play the Thunder in a 7-game series. I think the Mavs beat them, and I think they beat them in 6, beat them in 5. Yeah. But still, I think the Mavs got to get out of the fucking plane at this point. Because
did you see who the playing teams are right now?
No, let's take a peek.
I can tell Western you right Conference.
Western Conference.
You scrolled down and looked at it and laughed. Please tell the audience.
7 seed is the Phoenix Suns. 8 seed Dallas Mavericks. I think the Mavs could beat the Suns in a play-in game. 1 game, I think the Mavs beat them.
Yeah,
because Luke is going to take that shit personal. 9 seed is the Warriors and 10 seed is the Lakers.
How crazy would that play-in be?
Yeah, that's a tough play-in, man.
There's no way it ends like that. I'm just saying, Ryan, there's no way it ends like that. No way it ends like that. Please. Because you're going to get him screwed.
I mean, it might.
Because we'd be playing the second seed. If it stays like this, if we win this game, we play the second seed.
So we'd play the Suns. If we beat the Suns, then we'd play the Timberwolves, which are the second seed at this current moment. But if we lost to the Suns, then we'd play the winner of the Lakers and the Warriors.
Yeah, until we win those games.
And then that means that we would play the Thunder in in the 7-game series.
I just don't want to match up against the Nuggets. If we somehow our first round's the Nuggets, then I'm gonna be
the Nuggets and the Clippers are the two teams I don't want to match up with. They're the two teams I don't want to match up with. The Nuggets and the
quickly
Clippers.
on the Clippers, I don't know if you saw Westbrook is getting surgery on his hand, I think.
Yeah, on his hand, right? Yeah.
So he's missing for the rest of the regular. He should be fine for playoffs, is from what I heard.
Yeah, I think a healthy Clippers team is a scary team. I think they're the best team in the West.
I think Kawhi Leonard, it might be one of the most underrated ball players of all time,
which is crazy. It's crazy.
I feel like I think it's different for us as Mavs fans, just because we've seen him be a fucking robot against our team, even though Luka averages 40 points against him in playoffs. But just seeing Kawhi, the way he's just so good defensively and just, I mean, he just plays ball and like he's just automatic. I don't know if you've ever seen him play live. It's just like, and I've seen him multiple times against the Mavericks, and I'm just like, how else do you defend this guy? Like
he's about his business.
He's like, I just get boards, man. Whatever, you know. So that's him. But yeah. So I give him my most respect to Kawhi. I mean, he's not a hateable guy. You can't hate the guy, and he's just And I think just because he doesn't have the social media presence or just like the personality that all these other stars have, he just doesn't get the recognition that he deserves, and it's easily forgotten because he.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean, he doesn't play a lot of games because he goes, I'll play when it matters, and like, and he has, he can do that, and because the Clippers are a good enough team that they don't. I mean, you have Harden, Paul George.
Yeah, I mean they have. They have two
Zubac.
MVP players, like two ex MVPs that are third and fourth options.
And then Russell Westbrook. Yeah. I mean, whatever he is now to you, obviously not, but his efforts still on the defensive side of the ball, I won't be unbeaten.
Yeah, I mean, even Norman Powell is a great. He's a great second option at guard.
Great six guy. He's a great six guy.
Oh my god, yeah.
Norman Powell is a great six guy. My goodness.
I mean, Zubac has given the Mavs problems.
He's a good center. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it. Like I said, yeah.
So I don't know. It's a tough.
Nicholas Batum. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, rounding out Mavs news, AJ Lawson signed a multi-year contract to take the Mavs' final roster spot in the G League. He is shooting almost 21 points and 7 assists. I'm assuming.
I think
7
boards.
assists. Yeah, 7 boards. 27. It's 21 and 7. That's what he's got.
Yeah.
Does it matter? No. He's shooting 53% from the field in the G League. Good guard depth. I think he's played a little bit on a two-way, and I think it's worth it. I saw his little introductory, not press conference, but just him talking to the media. Sounds like a good, humble guy, and good locker room presence. So congrats to him to get that contract. Yeah.
And then one more, Big Fudge, Alex Fudge. I tried to take some time and like look at this guy, but it just seems like such a bum. I looked at his G League stats. He came from the Lakers. He's 6'8". He's gonna be more of a defensive minded player. He's gonna be a project for sure. But he can be somewhat of a threat on the offensive end with his cuts, alley-oop threat, and just I don't know. I mean, probably not someone you're gonna see this year, but just I don't know, just a guy that they signed, and then I guess we have to talk about him, and his last name's Fudge. So yeah, prospects, man. It's spring training. Not that I would say I was a little worried that I hadn't seen Wyatt Langford homer just yet. Gotta give him patience, and I know he had a lot on his shoulders. I mean, a lot. I mean, think about it. You haven't played spring training with your big club team. You just got drafted, and you've already done everything you've done. You already went to AAA, AA, all those ranks. And you're not even for sure guaranteed a spot yet on the 40-man. You're just not.
Yep.
You're not yet, or even in the Major League roster opening day. And MLB already has you as MLB Rookie of the Year candidate.
Yeah.
It's hard to not see that.
A lot of pressure.
It's hard to not see that, man. It's hard to not just be like, oh, I mean, I'm not on social media, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm sorry. At this point, Evan Carter's already been here. He wasn't supposed to be here last year, but they called him up, 21-year-old, and played absolute crazy ball. I thought it was going to be too much for him, but some dogs are just dogs, man. Some people can just perform when they got to, and Evan Carter did it in the biggest stage of them all. Props to him and the Wyatt Langford, like I said. I was like, oh, man, no homer yet. But once I saw that first one and heard the crack of the bat, I said, oh, my gosh. He took a deep center field, I think 440, 450. on his first homer.
Yeah, when I saw, I obviously right Saturday I didn't see the game because
Mm-hmm.
we were moving and all that stuff, but I just saw your text going crazy. I mean, you just said Wyatt Langford, and you're just like, I heard the crack of the bat. Like I'm just like,
okay, so yeah, because so it was I think Friday he homered first.
It was Friday, yeah.
Saw the
Friday.
video, but then Saturday I was getting a car wash. So and then 105 through the fan. That's all I listen. Like if I'm listening to music, I'm listening to the fan. And
Okay.
it was the weekend. I usually have music, but then I heard they had the Ranger game on. Then I'll listen to it. So I'm just hearing Wyatt Langford's up to bat. I'm like, okay. And you just hear the just crack of the bat. And Hicksy, the commentator, just like gets louder and louder. And it's like, oh, that ball's deep. And I was like, no way. And it homers again. And I was like, dude, I think it was the second homer of the day, his third in 2 days. And I was like, dude, that crack of the bat's insane.
Yeah.
So that's him. It looks like he's finally getting the swing of things, literally. So it's just exciting.
I mean, he's got what, 24 days to figure out if he's going to be able to make the roster.
Yeah, and I think it's like I know the Dodgers already designated some people, so I don't know how that works. I don't think there's a deadline yet. Maybe closer to a couple weeks before.
Yeah.
I mean, we're roughly roughly 3 weeks out of opening day, and then I didn't think it was gonna be possible for him to be here opening day, but I think it's gonna be really hard not to imagine that he's not gonna be on the roster on opening day.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
So that's my opinions on Wyatt Langford. Like you said, Jack Leiter, he's looking pretty good. And like I said, if I were to bet, I mean I do bet, but I'm telling you now, you're most likely gonna see Jack Leiter 2 in the leagues right now. The way that he's been pitching, only one walk is massive. Just because I know his command was a big problem.
Big command.
Yeah, it was a big problem. Yeah, he was still able to pump his fastball or whatever. And right now he's touching 97, 98. But I mean, who cares if you can't do anything with it? I mean, just all over the place. So this is the right time to do it. So he's looking pretty comfortable there. Justin Foscue is another name roaming around because he's been a top prospect here for a long time. I think he got drafted within the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, middle infielder.
Yeah, middle infielder. And then you look at it and it goes, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, you're not going to play in between those guys. Another reason why we kind of let go of, I know it was a very hot name with Luis Angel Acuna, obviously Ronald Acuna Jr. being his brother. He's with the Mets, and I think I saw a screenshot. I think he's they compare his Acuna, the brother's stats, and Acuna had zeros all across the board, and then Luis Angel is doing some stuff over there. So yeah, it's gonna be hard. But Justin Foscue was a top DH candidate because it's just hey, let's just throw him in DH just for now, just a guy that's been whatever, and then this and that. Because, like I told you last week, Wyatt Langford was, people want to talk about him being DHing, but being that young and just coming up, it's kind of hard to just have a mental space of just being okay with just sitting the bench for the whole game. Literally, you're going to be on the bench more than you're playing, obviously.
Yeah.
And then just go out there and just still stay positive after, strikeout or a pop-up or a walk or... Who knows if you're happy with a walk, but it's hard to be a DH, especially in the majors. You see veterans like JD Martinez. He's the perfect example of a DH right now that's still in the market, but he's just a DH. That's what he does. And Mitch Garver was doing that with us last year. He would catch sometimes, and now you're going to see him in the AL West still, sadly with another team. So that's that. And then Mark Church was another guy we mentioned. Looked like he pitched another inning, I think. He's only given up a hit, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and still hasn't given up 1 run, and he got a save under his book. So I think he's going to be a guy that probably breaks camp. And, just keep an eye like that. Nothing too crazy. You got to see.
I was looking for Antoine Kelly, but I was looking for Antoine Kelly. He's that lefty that we got with the Brewers.
That trade with the Brewers last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. And, it still looks like he's only pitched 1 game. So definitely one of those guys. I know we need lefties in the pen.
Yeah.
He's a big lefty, is a good reliever too. So one of those guys I would kind of be on the lookout for towards, spring training, towards the end of it, seeing, what are some of these guys that make the big leagues, at least on opening day, just because I think lefties out of the pen we don't really have right now.
No, I really don't. It's very, that I can think of right now is Brock Burke and damn, who's another lefty? Heaney, and Cody Bradford are going to be in the starting rotation.
They're probably going to start. Yeah, they're
going to be started. So I can think of just now. I'm sure there's one more. I want to say Kirby Yates, the one we just signed. He might be a lefty. I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, I think he's a lefty.
Yeah. But like right before we started this podcast, we were talking about Cody Bradford. I'm a big fan of his. He definitely developed a lot last year, and especially being like that swing guy of just like, hey, you me on the bullpen. And he's kind of like he was like a Dane Dunning. He's like, you didn't start on the bullpen, but like, hey, if we need you to start, you can start. And that's what he did. And he's looked pretty solid. He's looked pretty solid so far in spring training. I know he struggled a little bit yesterday at the first inning to get out of it, give up a run, a couple hits, but he was able to strike out the side. So that's a big guy that we saw Dane Dunning take that leap last year. It's going to be a lot to ask for. I mean, I guess we'll see. I mean, that's how pitching is. Sometimes
he's going to get an opportunity at the beginning of the year.
Definitely an opportunity, yeah. I don't want to say it's a fluke, but I mean, you got to start seeing with pitchers like that. I mean, we see it all the time. Like, I mean, we could kind of say Martin Perez was a fluke. I mean, he had that All-Star season with us. And then I was like, I wanted to trade him at the point because I'm like, he's not going to do anything here. Kyle Gibson was an All-Star with us. I mean, he was with the Phillies, but look at him now. And so, obviously, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen with Dane Dunning, but I'm praying. I mean, I'm hoping for him. I'm rooting for him. And I think Cody Bradford's going to be one of those pitchers that is really going to make a big breakout year this year. And you're going to go, damn, it's like, it's Cody Bradford guy, you know? Because he was with us last year, and then they're all going to get their opportunity this year. And I think Jack Ladder has this right opportunity to do it too. I feel like it's got to be this year or not. I mean, if it's not this year, then he might be just a candidate of just getting traded, being part of a piece, and seeing him probably succeed, just like Colt Reagans. Colt Reagans is having he
was a ball.
My goodness, great. I think they looked at just his Kansas City stats, obviously just the second half. He had like a 2-something ERA in like 13, 14 games, and I'm just like, man. I really loved Colt Reagans too, just coming in from the minors and just going up that ladder. And then another guy was Cole Winn, because I remember the Coles. That's how I would remember them. Cole Winn was another guy too.
He's still in the system. Still in
the system, but I think he's the one that I think he has 2 Tommy Johns already.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So that was another big prospect that people were really excited for. But I mean, Rangers are not known for developing pitchers correctly. Obviously, we keep seeing it. We just trade for them. So I just hope that we stay contenders up until the All-Star break and then trade. And I know Chris Young is going to do something with us that's going to be, I mean, something that we're not used to being with front offices, you know, going all in and doing whatever. So, just another quick one. Ezekiel Duran has been doing really good. I don't know if you've been seeing his stats.
He's been hot.
Ezekiel Duran is
That's my boy. I will claim him. I will claim him. I will say I saw that Josh Smith had a 900 OPS, and I was sick to my stomach.
I also heard on the radio broadcast that he made an insane catch in the hot corner.
Josh Smith?
Yeah, he might be your starting third baseman. If Young is not ready, and if Seager's not ready too.
Just catch a piece of paper into the trash.
I think Eric Nadel would have said that differently if that's what happened. But
that's so tough.
Yeah,
that's so tough.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Oh well. Ezekiel Duran, that's my dog though. That's my guy.
I don't know if you saw this. So he was mic'd up, and like they had like I guess they're getting followed around by T-Mobile. I just watched it today. It's like a 15-20 minute video. I think every week they drop it. Yeah, the All Access, and then it was Ezekiel Duran mic'd up, and he's teaching Wyatt Langford and Evan Carter Spanish. Dude, man, I'm so glad that we have Ezekiel Duran on our team. He's such a great vibes guy with him. Obviously,
you were
with
a hater,
Garcia.
bro. You were no. You were a hater on him last year, bro. You were hating him. You said, I want to trade him. No, bro.
You know what? I'm gonna own up to it. How you didn't own up to Tim Hardaway being your guy.
No, bro. I told you Tim Hardaway. I've never said Tim Hardaway was my guy.
I remember. Let me talk. I remember Ezekiel.
Okay.
I did say that.
Buddy.
Okay, don't okay, buddy. Me, dude. You gotta stop that shit. I'm serious. Stop that shit, bro.
Okay,
I have to
buddy.
Stop myself. Ezekiel Duran should have been traded. I still think he should have been traded away because you would have got him at an all-time high. Some team would have done something with him. I don't know what we would have got in return, but he's still on our team, and it looks like he's absolutely raking. If he just keeps that mentality,
he's probably going to be the
next man up.
He's probably going to be the opening day starter if Seager's not back at second.
It might be Josh Smith and him.
Short.
If Josh Smith and Corey Seager aren't ready, it might be Josh Smith and Ezekiel Duran.
I'm cool with Ezekiel Duran.
The reason why Josh Smith played more last year is because Ezekiel's not the best defender.
Yeah.
They're both utility guys. We see him in the outfield, but Josh Smith is a better defender.
No,
So
100%.
and infielder. So that's the only reason that we might see a
That
lot of
he
pinch
that is,
hitting or pinch like just
and it makes
yeah.
sense, especially that it makes sense that Josh Smith played more in the play, especially in the playoffs, because in high leverage situations, you're going to want somebody that can run because he pinch
Yeah.
ran,
And Josh Smith could run
and then
too.
and then B, you're going to want somebody that's defensively sound, not going to make an error, especially when you're in the World Series or in
Yeah.
Game 7 of
Yeah.
the of the ALCS, right? So
Yeah.
it's understandable. It's just saying that Zico Duran's my guy.
No, and I mean, I
think
believe
he's swaggy too.
he went on that.
I think he's
dude,
swaggy
he's
too.
swaggy as fuck, dude. He's got some crazy
He's
aura,
swaggy,
bro. I'm
bro.
telling
With
you, he's crazy.
with the one little cross.
Oh, I know. And his hair is crazy, bro. Come on,
Yeah,
I give
he's
props to
clean
him,
with
man,
it.
when it's there, bro. I'm gonna do it. I don't care. Call me what you want, but I'm gonna give him props. He's a clean motherfucker, man, and he can show it on the field. And he's just funny as fuck. He was teaching I think Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford. He's like, what you about to do? He's like, ¿qué vas a hacer ahorita? And he's like, huh? And he's like, ¿vas? And he's like, ¿vas a jugar? And it's like, it's so funny. But he's absolutely raking. And you just kind of hope that he has at least that stint for the beginning, like the first 2 weeks or whatever time is going to be missed, if there's time missed with Corey Seager and Josh Young. Another cool thing, we can end on this. I was watching that T-Mobile thing, the All Access thing. Have you seen it yet, or no? The second one, or no?
No, I need to watch it.
Okay, yeah. I was
It
just
came out today.
Yeah, I saw it on my homepage. I started watching it. Super cool. So they have their batters meeting, and it is the most I've seen Corey Seager talk ever.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like. If you look at him, obviously he's a quiet guy, and you don't know if he's a leader or not. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's not, because I mean, if I'm being honest, he's an intimidating guy. I think. Even I think they talked to Evan Carter quickly, just like, hey, do you go to Corey Seager since you're a lefty? He's a lefty. He goes, I really try not to talk to him. He's like, he's just kind of in his own world. And like, I'd be intimidated as fuck if I tried to talk to Corey Seager.
Yeah.
I've been like within 5 feet of Corey Seager and I couldn't even talk. I was kind of scared. I was just like, shit. He's a big man. He's a big boy.
Dog.
He's a big dog. So right before the hitters meeting or team meeting, they go, hey, Marcus, or they call him Simeon and Seager. I think it's funny. I was like, you don't call him by their first name. I was like, I guess that's how they do it. Like, I would do it like that too. Like, as a fan. Like, hey, Simeon and Seager have some stuff they want to say. Simeon gives this whole spiel of like how when me and Seager signed, like we were bottom 5 offense. We came up here, we did this and that. And Seager basically just trying to teach them like, hey, don't try to do too much, this and that. And just like, they talk about like passing the baton. That's really what they did.
They're trying to do.
Yeah, that's what they really enforced with the team and just stuck with them, was like passing down the baton. Don't try to be the hero. Even, I mean, obviously Marcus, Simeon, Corey, not that they're trying to be the heroes, but they're capable of being the hero.
They're the guys.
Most likely and most chances. So, but even then, like they want to get on base with a walk, with a base hit, getting hit, whatever. They're for the team, and that I just love hearing that type of stuff, because you don't see that stuff during the regular season, obviously. So just this All Access stuff. If you haven't had time to see it, all y'all, you guys should just sit there and watch it while you're eating, or just have it for background. It's just something really cool, because you get to hear like Travis Jankowski talk about how they see them as leaders too. Like I said, because not that I'm saying that Corey doesn't seem like a leader, but just how reserved he is, I wouldn't be surprised if he's just like the quiet guy that just kind of like sits back and just does what he has to do. The quiet leader, yeah. And because sometimes you don't even lead by example. Sometimes you don't have to talk. Like you just look at Corey and just like, shit, like I don't want to let Corey down. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I got on Rangers. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm glad we ended on this because I'm happy as fuck.
It's the happy stuff.
It's the happy stuff.
I think this episode's going to be a little bit of a long one, guys. Oliver, I think, got in his yap bag today.
Damn, my bad, guys. I'll stop yapping, bro. But just letting you know, once baseball season starts, it's me a whole yap session.
It's yap session.
It's yap session mania, and it's gonna be primetime basketball too.
Prime basketball, prime baseball. We got some good stuff going. Make sure you guys check us out on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff, all the socials. We kind of plugged it earlier, but Instagram at Austin_and_Ollie, TikTok at Austin Ollie, YouTube at Austin Ollie Sports Podcast. So check us out on there. Apple, Spotify, make sure you guys subscribe, rate 5 stars. Tell your friends, keep spreading the word. We appreciate the help. It feels like we're growing a little bit, which is nice. And, we're not really doing too much on our end other than filming the podcast. So we're going to try and get a little bit better at that. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. It's been another episode of Austin and Ollie, a sports podcast. But until next week, we'll see you guys. Peace.